If you're over 60, there's something you need to hear. Something that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Because despite your best efforts to stay active, healthy, and independent, you might be doing everything right, but in the wrong way. The truth is, not all exercises are created equal. In fact, some of the most common workouts seniors rely on to stay strong and youthful could be silently damaging their heart every single day. Yes, you read that right. Damage without warning, risk without symptoms, and the worst part, you may not even know it's happening until it's too late. As a senior, your heart isn't the same organ it once was. After decades of loyal service, it's more vulnerable, more reactive, and more sensitive to stress than ever before. And yet, many seniors unknowingly push it past its limit in the name of health. In this video, we're exposing 6 specific types of exercise that seniors often think are serious, but which could be putting their heart in serious danger. Each one comes with real consequences. Ones I've seen firsthand in my patients: hospital visits, sudden arrhythmias, even life-altering cardiac events. So if you've ever felt lightheaded after a workout, experienced irregular heartbeats, or noticed that your body just doesn't bounce back like it used to, you need to watch this. Because knowing what not to do might be just as important as knowing what to. This is not about fear, it's about freedom. The freedom to age with confidence, to move wisely, to live fully, with the strength that comes from protecting, not punishing your body. If that sounds like the kind of strength you're looking for, then stay with us. And if you're ready to take your health seriously, like really seriously, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Every week we bring you science-backed, senior-specific advice that's made with your health, independence, and peace of mind in mind. The first exercise you need to stop doing right away is high-intensity interval training, HIIT and overexertion. Let's be honest, there's something seductive about the idea of HIIT. Short, fast, and efficient. It promises strength, weight loss, and energy in half the time. You see younger people doing it on YouTube or at your local gym, dripping with sweat and glowing with results. So why not you? Because at 60, 70, even 80, your heart simply doesn't recover the way it once did. High-intensity interval training, those short bursts of fast-paced exertion, followed by quick rest periods, creates enormous spikes in blood pressure and heart rate. For a younger heart, that challenge builds strength. But for the aging heart, it creates strain, often silent and always dangerous. Dr. Michael Evans, a respected cardiologist in his late 60s, recounts the story of Eleanor, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania. Inspired by her daughter, she began following a HIIT program online, believing it would help her keep up with her grandchildren. At first, it felt good, sweaty, productive, but within weeks, Eleanor noticed something strange. She would feel lightheaded afterward. Her chest would flutter late at night. She struggled to fall asleep. It wasn't exhaustion, it was her heart waving a red flag. By the time she saw Dr. Evans, tests revealed episodes of atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that increases the risk of stroke and heart failure. She didn't have a bad heart, Dr. Evans explained. She had a good heart, doing the wrong kind of work. What makes HIIT so risky for seniors is its suddenness. One moment your heart is steady. The next, it's forced into a sprint. That rapid escalation causes what's known as cardiac afterload, a state where your heart must push against a surge of internal pressure. It's exhausting and potentially dangerous. For aging tissue, you might not feel chest pain. You might not even notice anything. Try gentle, rhythmic movements like Nordic walking, Tai Chi, or aquatic exercises. These help maintain cardiovascular health without sending your body into crisis mode. If you've done HIIT and felt winded longer than usual, needed more rest days, or just felt off, consider it a sign. Your body isn't failing, it's talking to you. The second exercise seems harmless, but it contains unpredictable consequences. Crunches, sit-ups, and heavy lifting abs are overrated. That might sound controversial, but let's break it down. Most seniors assume that strong core muscles mean better balance, less back pain, and greater independence. And while that's partly true, the way you strengthen your core matters deeply. Carl, 71, a retired architect from Portland, believed in daily discipline. He'd wake up at 5:30 a.m. every day, stretch, then hit the mat for 50 crunches and 20-pound dumbbell lifts. He believed this kept him young. But one morning during his usual crunch routine, Carl passed out. His wife found him collapsed on the floor, confused and pale. At the ER, doctors explained he had triggered a dangerous heart rhythm due to the pressure he unknowingly created in his chest. When you perform core-crushing exercises, especially sit-ups or weighted crunches, you often engage the Valsalva maneuver, holding your breath while straining. This builds dangerous internal pressure in the chest and abdomen, sending your blood pressure skyrocketing and reducing blood flow to the brain. The heart has to overcompensate to keep circulation stable. Add aging arteries, potential plaque buildup, and pre-existing hypertension, and you've got a perfect storm. Heavy lifting, especially in untrained seniors, works similarly. It strains the circulatory system, increases thoracic pressure, and introduces risk of blood vessel rupture or irregular heart rhythms. But that doesn't mean you should avoid strength training altogether. In fact, done right, strength training can be one of the best ways to preserve muscle mass, joint stability, and independence. The key is modification. Option 4. Resistance bands instead of dumbbells. Seated core exercises that don't involve intense crunching. Controlled movements, not fast-paced sets. Breathing techniques, exhale with effort, inhale with ease. Also work with a trainer who specializes in senior health. It's not just about fitness, it's about functional fitness. Carl eventually shifted to balance Hopefully's routines and began working with a physiotherapist. He still trains 5 days a week, but his exercises support his heart rather than strain it. And today he says, "I feel stronger than when I was trying to be young." Don't mistake pain for progress. Don't confuse difficulty with discipline. At this stage of life, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what's right. The third thing you need to stop doing right now is exercising in extreme temperatures. Picture this, you step outside for a morning walk. The sun is already strong, or the wind bites through your sweater. You think, "I've survived worse." But your heart may not agree. As we age, our body's ability to regulate internal temperature declines. It doesn't adapt as efficiently to heat or cold. And for seniors, it's more than just a comfort issue, it's a cardiovascular risk. In cold weather, your blood vessels constrict to conserve warmth, which raises your blood pressure. For someone with stiff arteries or hypertension, this can mean serious trouble. And in hot weather, your blood vessels dilate. Your heart must pump harder to keep blood flowing and cool your body. This is especially dangerous when combined with dehydration, which occurs faster as we age. Lena Roberts, a cardiovascular specialist in Florida, has seen it all. She recounts the case of James, a 75-year-old man who jogged every morning at 10 a.m. Even in July, fit, energetic, and proud of staying active, James never imagined his routine could betray him. One morning he collapsed halfway through his route. Paramedics found him overheated with dangerously high. He spent 3 days in the hospital, recovering from heat exhaustion and learning a hard lesson. Dr. Roberts now advises all seniors, your exercise is only as safe as the environment you do it in. It's not enough to stretch, hydrate, or warm up. You need to consider the weather as an active variable. The time of day, the humidity, the air quality. For seniors with heart issues, even a mild misjudgment can tip the balance from beneficial to harmful. There are additional nuances most people don't realize. Sudden shifts in temperature can trigger what's called thermal stress, a condition where the body works overtime to stabilize its core temperature. Even a mild breeze on exposed skin can result in constriction of peripheral arteries, raising blood pressure quietly but significantly. Likewise, walking in high humidity reduces your body's ability to sweat efficiently, which means your internal temperature continues to rise, even if you don't feel hot. And let's not forget seasonal misconceptions. Many seniors feel safer exercising in the cold, believing it invigorates them. But according to a 12-year longitudinal study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, wintertime heart attacks spike in individuals over 65, not because of infection, but because of increased blood pressure and clotting associated with cold exposure. So what can you do instead? Aim for climate-controlled environments. Mall walking, indoor pools, or air-conditioned studios are excellent options. If you love the outdoors, go out early, before 8 a.m., or after the sun sets. Wear layered clothing in winter and breathable fabrics in summer. Keep a hydration plan. Drink water before, during, and after activity. And above all, listen to your body. If your heart starts racing too quickly, or you feel short of breath earlier than usual, stop. Go inside, rest. A walk isn't worth a hospital visit. Here's a trick. Use the 15-minute rule. If after 15 minutes of outdoor activity, you notice increased fatigue, dry mouth, palpitations, or dizziness, your environment is likely not supportive of your cardiovascular health. Your surroundings matter more than you think. Movement should serve you, not strain you. The next thing you need to pay attention to is sudden movements, jumping, and direction changes. For many, group fitness classes or fast-paced workouts bring a sense of vitality. There's music, rhythm, and community. It feels energizing, like you're reclaiming youth. But for seniors, especially after 60, rapid changes in motion aren't just risky, they can be dangerous. Here's why. Fast, jarring movements, like jumping jacks, high knees, burpees, or abrupt lunges, create internal chaos. Not only are your joints under pressure, but your cardiovascular and nervous systems are also caught off guard. Dorothy, 76, joined a community dance class that promised to help seniors feel young again. The pace was moderate, the music upbeat. Halfway through, during a set of quick turns and hops, Dorothy felt her heart race unpredictably. Moments later, she staggered and fell, not from weakness, but from a sudden loss of balance. Her doctor later diagnosed her with exercise arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat triggered by the erratic demands placed on her aging nervous system. Apparently. And this isn't rare. As we get older, our baroreceptors, specific sensors that help regulate blood pressure, become less responsive. That's why many seniors experience dizziness when standing up too fast. Add a quick squat or jumping movement, and the result can be a blackout. It's called orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure, and it's a leading cause of falls in the elderly. Researchers at Johns Hopkins have found that balance incidents combined with sudden cardiovascular shifts are responsible for nearly 38% of non-fatal ER visits among seniors participating in moderate-intensity classes. What begins as a routine movement can spiral into an emergency if the body is not adequately supported. These movements also confuse the heart. Your heart prefers rhythm. When you shift direction rapidly or exert force unpredictably, your cardiovascular system can't maintain a steady beat. Blood flow to the brain may become inconsistent and oxygen supply may lag. This doesn't just affect your safety, it affects your longevity. So what's the solution? Low-impact movement done with control. Think Tai Chi, which has been shown in clinical trials to reduce falls and stabilize heart rate. Think gentle yoga, where each movement flows into the next without surprise. Think water aerobics, where the resistance of water cushions your joints and calms your nervous system. Need more structure? Explore programs like Fall Proof or Aging Gracefully, certified exercise plans designed for stability, coordination, and cardiovascular pacing. They're designed not just to protect your joints, but to train your heart to respond gradually, not erratically. Add simple tools like foam pads, balance discs, or light therapy cues to improve your reaction time and proprioception. Here's a practical tip. Before joining any class, ask the instructor 3 things. 1. Do they understand cardiovascular concerns for seniors? 2. Will movements include transitions or jumps? And 3. Do they offer modifications? If the answer is unclear or rushed, that class might not be the right one for you. The truth is, your heart has served you loyally for decades. Now it asks for patience, not punishment. You don't need to prove your energy. You need to protect your stability. Exercising too late at night is the next thing you need to avoid. At first glance, evening exercise might feel ideal. It's quiet, the day's responsibilities are done, and finally there's time to move your body. But for seniors, late-night workouts may quietly sabotage the very thing your heart depends on most: restorative sleep. Let's take Harold, 73, a retired postal worker who prided himself on a post-dinner routine of light biking and floor exercises. He believed ending the day with movement was a sign of discipline. But over time, Harold found himself unable to fall asleep. He tossed and turned. He woke up groggy, unrest, and increasingly irritable. His blood pressure spiked at night and dropped suddenly in the morning. What was going on? Harold's story is more common than you'd think. When you exercise, especially after 6 or 7 p.m., your nervous system becomes activated. Heart rate rises, cortisol increases, adrenaline surges. All of these physiological responses are great during the day, but at night they directly conflict with your body's preparation for rest. As we age, our circadian rhythm becomes more sensitive. The body takes longer to return to baseline. That means a 30-minute walk or stretch at 9 p.m. may delay melatonin release, elevate heart rate during early sleep cycles, and reduce deep sleep phases. Worse, disturbed sleep can trigger nighttime arrhythmias, elevate inflammatory markers, and impair your heart's ability to repair tissue. In a study from the National Sleep Foundation, seniors who exercised in the evening had a 42% higher incidence of sleep disruption compared to those who were active before 3 p.m. Their heart rate variability, the measure of heart's adaptability, was consistently lower. which is an early sign of cardiac stress. But beyond the data, it's what sleep does for the heart that matters most. Sleep is when your body repairs micro tears in the blood vessels, reduces systemic inflammation, and balances hormones critical for cardiovascular health. Disrupting this process night after night adds up. A lack of deep sleep has even been linked to atrial fibrillation, high blood pressure, and insulin resistance, all of which stress the heart in different ways. And it's not just cardio workouts that can interfere. Even yoga or bodyweight strength training late in the evening can elevate body temperature and stimulate the brain, delaying the transition to REM sleep. The key? Timing. If you love evening movement, aim for a cutoff by 6 p.m. and incorporate calming activities, breathwork, meditation, or a short walk while listening to soothing music. Harold eventually adjusted. He swapped nighttime workouts for a 10:30 IEM gardening session, followed by lunch and a short nap. Within weeks, his sleep returned, his blood pressure stabilized. He didn't move less, he just moved smarter. And that made all the difference. Remember, the hour you choose to exercise matters just as much as the exercise itself. But don't think that just not exercising will keep you safe, because skipping movement altogether is the silent threat. Now, this last one may come as a surprise. It's not an exercise, it's the lack of it. Complete inactivity may seem safe, restful, even healing. But for seniors, prolonged stillness is one of the most dangerous traps of aging. It doesn't happen overnight, but the cost compounds. According to the World Health Organization, physical inactivity is the fourth leading risk factor for global mortality, and its impact grows with age. Consider Elaine, 79. After a mild knee injury, she decided to take it easy and rest for a few weeks. Those weeks turned into months. She went from walking daily to spending most of her time seated, watching TV, reading, or napping. When she finally tried to return to her old routine, she found herself winded after 5 minutes. Her ankles swelled, her heart pounded. Tests later revealed early-stage heart failure not caused by overexertion, but by Her cardiac output had dropped significantly due to loss of muscle tone and reduced vascular elasticity. The body is designed for motion, and the heart is no exception. Regular movement, even gentle, is like oil to an engine. It keeps the blood flowing, the valves flexible, the rhythm steady. When seniors stop moving, the body begins to decondition, muscles shrink, blood vessels lose elasticity, even the lungs become less efficient. This creates a feedback loop. Fatigue discourages activity, and inactivity causes more fatigue. Cognitive function can also decline. The brain receives less oxygenated blood, and neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, begins to fade. To break this cycle, seniors don't need intense workouts. They need daily consistency. Try this: stand and stretch every 30 minutes. Walk around the room during TV commercials. Or chair yoga in the morning. Keep a resistance band on your kitchen chair and do 2 sets while waiting for tea. It's not about sweating, it's about signaling to your heart, I'm still here and I still care. In fact, the American Heart Association states that for adults over 65, even 10-minute movement bursts 3 times a day can dramatically reduce the risk of cardiac events. Elaine began with chair stretches and short hallway walks. Over months, she regained endurance and confidence. Today, she leads a weekly seated exercise group at her senior center. She says moving a little made everything feel possible again. And she's right. Motion is medicine. Movement is memory. It's joy, it's rhythm. It's your way of telling your heart, I'm still alive, let's keep going. So ask yourself this: when was the last time you moved for your heart? Not for weight, not for strength, but for love. Love of life, of breath, of being alive. Your heart doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for presence. Presence in how you move, when you rest, and what you allow into your body and mind. These 6 exercises, whether too intense, too mistimed, or too absent, remind us that senior health is not about doing more. It's about doing things wisely. So now that you know what to stop doing, here's the question: what will you start doing instead? Will you change your evening walks to morning sun strolls? Will you let go of painful sit-ups and pick up gentle resistance bands? Will you choose hydration and airflow over outdoor heat waves? Let us know in the comments below what changes you're making today to protect your heart tomorrow. Wherever you are, we'd love to know what city or country you're watching from. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every week we bring you real stories, real science, and real encouragement from the worlds of elderly wisdom, senior health, and reflections that matter. Because growing older isn't the end of your story, It's where your wisdom begins to shine.